While most professional sports have yet to resume, most college athletes are expected to start preparing for their fall seasons in just a couple of weeks. But there are some big changes ahead as colleges and universities work on their game plans after a long time out during the coronavirus emergency. Derek Francis from our sister station in Grand Rapids joins us live right now with a look at what's happening at the lower level of collegiate athletics right now. Derek.
Yeah, Carolyn, of course, we all know the big-time college sports Division I is big business, thanks in part to their lucrative TV deals. But for the thousands of other college athletes, both around the country and here in Michigan, how much the pandemic affects them may depend on where they go to school.
I was working really hard, wanted to do as best as I could for my senior year, just to go all out, and then next thing you know, it's gone.
Jenison 2020 graduate Chase Post talking about when he found out his final high school season of lacrosse had been canceled.
I mean, it was rough. I was heartbroken. I was so upset.
After what was essentially a canceled spring sports season for much of the country.
Really, student athletes are just now starting to come back across the country.
The planning is now well underway to make college sports happen this fall.
And we're going to keep proceeding like it's full steam ahead and that we can participate and have everything going, and then we'll adjust as we need to.
We at some point have to get back to full contact sports, right? So without physical distancing, without those types of things.
While many schools across the nation have eliminated some of their programs to save money.
We're not looking at making any cuts. As of right now.
Neither Hope College nor Grand Valley State University will be cutting any sports, and the NCAA is trying to help. At the Division II level, they're reducing the maximum and minimum number of games for each school, while still allowing teams to qualify for the postseason.
All the sports, the maximum number of contests was reduced, anywhere from 10% to 25%. So our football schedule, it has been reduced from 11 games to 10 games.
At the Division III level, the NCAA also adjusting the minimum games allowed.
Allows schools flexibility, so if they only want to play, I think it's 6 games in football, then they could get away with that. That allows some different things institutionally.
But how many fans, if any, will be allowed to watch those games from the stands is another issue.
No fans would be very, I don't want to say catastrophic. That's such a strong word. I'll be honest, Derek, it would not be good. And it would mean some cutting of possibly some positions. It would mean, when you think about what makes up a budget in any organization, it's people is the biggest hunk of it. When you lose out on $300,000-$400,000 and just one sport ticket sales that supports a lot of the other operations.
Becker says she's run a budget model with 50% lower ticket revenue for the entire year, and Grand Valley State would still be fine, but limiting fans would affect a second bucket of money tied to marketing and advertising revenues.
It's a huge piece that's tied to having 14,000 fans in a football stadium so that businesses can get that return on investment.
At Hope College, it's mostly just making sure the seasons happen with or without fans.
To be honest, right now, that gives us one less thing to stress about. For most Division IIIs, the bottom dollar really comes down to enrollment. So if we don't play, if we don't play football, that could have a significant impact on whether or not students would enroll in our institution in the fall. They might say, hey, I'm going to take this semester off and come back next year or do something like that.
And while recruiting has been a little different of late.
We just opened up yesterday or really this week, allowing our coaches to be able to travel to recruit off campus. So all of our recruiting since really March has been virtual.
Thanks to video technology and year-round camps.
Get that all together. Start signing out to the colleges you want to look at.
The pandemic will not stop players from extending their careers, like Chase, who committed in December to play lacrosse at Division II Davenport University.
After just missing the senior season, I'm just absolutely stoked to be able just to play. It just makes you realize. So it just made me super excited to get back on the field next spring. And
now, AD Carrie Becker says when it comes to recruiting, it really depends on the sport. For example, the women's sports at Grand Valley, they commit a lot sooner. In fact, Grand Valley had its 2020 class already in the book before the pandemic hit, and they told us even part of their 21 and 22 classes were also in the book way before the March pandemic hit. But men's sports certainly much different, Carolyn. For example, baseball, they commit much later, and not only did a lot of high school baseball players lose out on their entire senior season, but also many of them right now seeing their summer travel ball also being compromised. But if your school has not cut your sport yet, it appears you may be through the worst of it, and there is reason for optimism down the road. For The Rebound, I'm Derek Francis. Back to you, Carolyn.
And boy, oh boy, do we need some optimism right now, and people want their sports to return. So thank you so much for that entire report, Derek. The Rebound Detroit is our commitment to stories helping us all recover from this unprecedented crisis. In the days and months ahead, we are highlighting how communities are navigating these uncertain times. Email us at rebound@wxyz.com with your story ideas on how your communities are stepping up to weather this storm. We're all in this together, and we will rise again.